If you're waiting for the right time and the right, things to be in place, it may never be.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay? So I don't go anywhere with a chip on my shoulder.
This is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
There will still be
The journey. The journey.
New sheriff in town, and his name is
The journey.
Journey.
This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is
The journey. The journey.
What is it that moved you?
The journey. The journey. The journey. The journey.
Welcome to another episode of The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson, and today we got a unique one, an extremely unique guest. But before that, I got to give you our quote, and it's from that great philosopher, Anonymous. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he's courage to lose sight of the shore. To me, that kind of reminds me of Steve Harvey's statement about jumping. You got to jump. You got to get out there. This gentleman said, I'm going to leave this shore and I'm going to find some new ones and make a new home. A survivor, healthcare innovator, pioneer, father, husband, the personification of hard work paying off. Please welcome to The Journey, Mr. Michael Ugwueke. Michael.
Larry, thank you.
Glad you're here, man.
Glad to be here.
Finally got you to the new studio.
I know, it's really, really nice.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, listen, this is the quick, rapid section. You give me the little Cliff Note version of the answers.
Yeah.
We're going to come back in the second segment and unwrap them a little bit.
Got it.
So first things first, tell us about your early years. Enugu, right?
Yes,
Enugu,
yeah.
Nigeria,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about it.
So Larry, I was born in Enugu. Enugu is in the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Okay.
This was the Igbos, if you will.
Okay.
Mostly from the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Okay.
As you know, Nigeria has 3 major tribes.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the Hausas, the Yorubas, and the Igbos are the 3 major tribes.
Really?
They're some of the.
Now, are you a part of
the Igbos?
Igbos.
Yes.
Okay.
They are inhabitants of the southeastern part of the country.
Okay.
So that's where I was born.
Okay.
And went to school there. It was.
Well, hold on. We ain't gonna give them too much. We're gonna come back to it. So, secondly.
Okay.
Outside of your parents, who had the biggest impact on young Michael?
Very good question. So where we lived at the time when I was born, the headmaster, believe it or not, of my elementary school lived in the same complex with us.
Okay.
So he was instrumental early.
So you had to be on good behavior
all the time. And he convinced my folks that I should start school earlier.
Really?
Yeah, which was not well received by me.
You was living the life of Riley.
Yeah, that was one of the people that had an influence on me.
Okay. All right, now, what decision did you make as a young person that turned it out to have lifelong impact? That you look back now, it's like, man, I made that decision, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad it turned out.
So the decision that I made, very young age, was to go to a boarding school.
Oh.
And outside the state where my parents lived.
Okay. How far outside?
Got 3-4 hour drive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what
12 years old.
What was the genesis of that desire to go somewhere else
so
and study?
Back in my days when I was growing up, most high schools in Nigeria were boarding schools.
Okay.
Almost, I would say probably 90% were.
Okay. Why is that?
That was part of the British system of education.
Okay.
And you have to take a common entrance exam and identify 3 schools you wanted to go to.
Right.
You could go to schools within the area where you live,
right,
but you have to live in the dorm there as well.
Wow.
You wouldn't necessarily go from the house.
Okay.
But I chose to go outside
okay,
at a very young age. So I was 12 years old when I went to boarding school.
Okay. So
that was right after 6th grade.
Okay. How different are you from the dreams of your childhood? I dreamed I wanted to be NBA. I knew I was going to play. I was going to be playing for the 76ers because I loved Dr. J. Even though I knew he'd be gone, I'd just take the mantle from him.
Yeah.
So how different are you from the dreams of your childhood?
Not too far from what I was thinking as a child.
Really?
Yes, because at 8 years old, I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
I wanted to be a medical doctor.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you ended up in the same
Yes, that's what I
stratosphere.
mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Not too far from what I was thinking.
Well, many of you may not know, but Mr. Michael Ugwueke is the CEO of Methodist Bonheur Healthcare. So, although he's not a medical doctor,
That's right.
he's the boss of a whole bunch of medical doctors. So
As my
it
daughter,
might be better.
As my daughter calls me, she was in 4th grade, and they asked her, I always work in hospitals, and they thought I was a medical doctor. So
Really?
they said, your dad is a doctor. She said, no, he's a book doctor.
He's a book doctor. Tell me something. When did you know you were going to be okay, Mike? You can handle this. I'm gonna have a good life.
You mean my current profession or
No,
just life?
Just life, period.
So, Nigeria is a very unique country.
Okay.
Most kids there, even when I was growing up, people are very ambitious. They're very,
okay.
yeah. So you never think you're not gonna be okay.
Right.
The question is when.
Okay.
You're right. When.
Okay.
So, and that was instilled in a lot of us very, very early on.
So you knew
it's very competitive.
Age.
Remember,
Right.
everything you did in school, starting from 1st grade, you are ranked.
Oh, wow.
So it's not a matter of just passing to go.
Right.
You're ranked.
Right.
So if you have 40 kids in your class, you're ranked against those 40 kids.
Man, I'd hate to be number 40.
That's my point.
Tell me your why.
So that's my point. So when you come home at the end of each semester, you get a report card. And you're not number 1 or number 2.
Right.
You have to explain.
You have to explain.
You have to explain what's the difference between you and the number 1.
Okay, hold on now. Wait, we're going to get into that too.
Yeah.
But okay, tell me your why, real quickly. Why you get up every morning, fight the fight?
Right now?
Yeah.
I am extremely lucky to be in the profession that I am.
Wow.
I am.
Okay.
I don't know how many other jobs where you have a privilege to really be with people at the very difficult times in their lives.
Okay.
And really try to understand their journey and help them get back.
Right.
That's a privilege.
Absolutely.
That's enough to get me up there in the morning.
I got you. I got to ask you this question, though. When was the first time you realized you was a black man?
Good question. Very good question. So,
hold on. Listen, we're gonna come back with Mr. Michael Ugwueke, CEO of Methodist Bonheur Healthcare, straight out of Enugu, Nigeria. Here today on the journey. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
KUDZUKIAN.
Based in Memphis, but it is international.
A new building, an expanded team, new equipment, a new studio, all inside of 7 years.
The resources that we were able to utilize with KUDZUKIAN and their team has been incredible. And our partners at KUDZUKIAN has been a large part of our success.
One, it's Black owned. So we get to tell our own stories in our own way. I'm so proud of the founder, Larry Robinson, and his entire family and all of the team here at KUDZUKIAN.
We are so proud of their progress that they've made here in Memphis.
With social media and the technology we have today, the world is listening.
KUDZUKIAN. Check out all your KUDZUKIAN favorites now. Download the KUDZUKIAN app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson, and today we have CEO of Methodist Labana Healthcare, Mr. Michael Ugwueke. Michael, before we left, you were telling us the moment that you realized you was a brother.
Yep.
Go ahead, finish.
So, I didn't know I was a black man.
You did?
I know you find it very difficult. I was an Igbo.
Wow.
So in Nigeria, you didn't have black or white.
Holy smoke. So what was this like?
That's my point.
So you really had no...
You have no black or white. You have tribes, you have Hausa, you have Igbos, you have Yorubas.
Yeah.
So you can tell people by their tribe. I can say, Larry is a Yoruba. I can still hate you for being a Yoruba or whatever, but it's not because Larry is white and I'm black.
Wow.
So you don't classify yourself as black, you know, because there's one color. Everybody's black.
Right. So, man, when did you realize you were black, and what was that moment like?
It's when I came to the United States.
Man.
Yeah.
Was there a moment?
It was actually several moments.
Okay. Give us one.
So I came to U.S. in the 80s.
Right.
Okay. I went to Shaw University. It's a
Right.
historical black college
Right.
in Raleigh, North Carolina. And then stepping on campus was when people started talking about black and white.
Did you immediately know what they were talking about?
A little bit, but I just didn't know the veracity of the issues or the differences. I just knew that there were, you started to learn that some people are privileged and others not.
Okay. Right.
So you start looking, observing, and I worked to survive. I worked to pay tuition, college, and all that stuff. So that's when you really get exposed to the kind of jobs you have to do.
Right.
And a lot of us back in those days that came were actually working in banks, and I was teaching school before I came.
Wow. Man.
I was less than 21. I was 21 when I came.
I'm assuming you've heard or been called the N-word.
Oh, absolutely, many times.
The first time?
The first time was...
That you can remember?
Oh, God. It's the same time when I was working at a restaurant. Western Sizzler Restaurant in Raleigh, North Carolina. South Sanders Street.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So I remember it that well.
Okay. All right. So listen, we're going to go back. We're going to rewind back to Enugu. And tell us childhood, family structure, brothers, sisters, who was in the household?
Yeah. So I have 5 siblings.
Okay.
All boys, so 5 boys. I'm number 1, I'm the first.
Okay.
So my dad and my mom, obviously, lived in the household. My mom was what we call a petty trader. She sold whatever fruits that were in season at the time.
Right.
She didn't have any education.
Okay.
My dad didn't have any education at all. So he kind of raised himself, educated himself. His parents died at a very young age.
Okay.
So he was pretty much a self-made individual.
Okay. Where did the love for education come from?
For lack of it.
Oh, okay.
Not having and knowing the potential.
Right.
So they did everything they could and whatever means they had to make sure that all of us got the best education we could at the time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Brothers, sisters. Oh, it's all brothers.
It's all brothers, yes.
All brothers.
Yes.
Who was your biggest rival?
I have one actually live in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, I didn't quite, unfortunately, grow up with a lot of my brothers because I left the country.
Oh.
I left the country.
So you left before they were?
So they were young.
Okay.
So I left. Remember, I went to boarding school when I was 12.
Oh, wow.
So the only time I really spent time with them was during the holidays.
Right.
Come back and spend time with them. And then after high school,
you were gone.
I was gone.
Who are you closest with?
I am closest to the youngest, my baby brother.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was less than 6 months when I left.
Okay.
He was the one that I least spent time with.
What's your most traumatic, troublesome experience, either in leaving or early on in the United States?
Oh, man. So leaving was traumatic, just trying to get the resources to live. Right. And also not knowing where you're going and what you're going to do when you get there.
Wow.
You have all these ideas. You've never been.
Right.
You have no one, that's gone, come back to tell you what it's like.
Right. Wow.
So
you're just kind of going off into, in essence, just a dark abyss.
In a way, but you have, you have an idea,
okay,
but you have no experience, and you have no one to either help you get that experience or tell you what it's going to be like. So you kind of fishing in the dark, so to speak.
Right.
But you are very strong-willed and strong-minded,
right,
and capable of facing any obstacle that comes through the hardships that you've gone through. You learn and from all those experiences.
Right. What's your fondest memory of being in the States thus far?
My fondest memory?
Fondest memory. When you was like, man, it just brings a smile to your face every time. that thought that just ran across your head.
When I graduated undergrad, was the first time, because I didn't have any money.
Okay.
Didn't know if I was going to make it or not.
Okay.
And I was able to graduate in 3 years, working 3 jobs. And they wouldn't let me march and get my diploma because I was owing school.
Now, I told y'all he was the personification of hard work. I'm telling you, this man is unbelievable. 3 jobs, graduated from college in 3 years.
Yeah.
It took me 7 years.
So they wouldn't let me.
So you didn't party at all?
No, there was no party. That's why
I
didn't pledge any fraternities in college. I didn't go to sports. I didn't do anything other than study and go to work.
Wow.
So when I graduated, I wanted to march so bad and have my hood and gown and a certificate.
Right.
But because I was owing them,
you had to go to the bursar's office.
I was owing them. I went to the boss's office. They said, we're not going to give you a certificate.
Right.
So I negotiated to be allowed to at least go through the process. Hold the certificate. I'll come back for it.
Right.
So that was the biggest, happiest moment for me.
Wow. Okay. Transition to adulthood. When did you find the missus? And, and what was that like?
Very interesting. After undergrad, I moved to Atlanta to go to Emory for graduate school.
Right.
Immediately, right a year after undergrad.
Okay.
So lived in Atlanta for a while. My wife and I met in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Yeah, we met in Washington,
When did
D.C.
you know she was the one?
When I met her.
Okay.
When I met her, she was introduced to me by a mutual friend.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was actually in Alabama at the time. She was visiting D.C.
Okay.
And I was visiting D.C. at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of them divine appointments.
And she also happened to come from Nigeria.
Wow.
By way of England.
Okay. Wow. 2 Nigerians, one by way of England, making it in the South in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what role has Memphis played in your development as a man and as an executive?
Memphis was a pivotal point for me in my career and journey. I tell people, I've been here now almost 14 years. I remember when you and I first met. I've been here now 14 years. This is the longest I've ever been anywhere in the United States in my 40 years.
Okay.
So this is home.
Okay. You ever see yourself going back to Nigeria and establishing a presence? Maybe not as your home, but...
I don't know.
Okay.
I really do not know. Believe it or not, when I became a citizen, I made that decision consciously.
Okay.
Okay. And I haven't looked back.
Okay. Any regrets? Any regrets as it relates to kind of uprooting yourself?
You know, obviously, when I came here, my goal was to get education and go back, just like most of us that came at the same time. That was the goal. That was part of trying to graduate on 3 years and do everything you can to get back, because education was very much prized and valued.
Right.
So the regret was not able to do that. Okay. And, you know, making that pivot to stay here.
Right.
But I've always felt if you have a calling, it doesn't really matter where you fulfill that, because we're all human beings. Wherever you go, there's issues and opportunities and things you can do differently.
Right.
So the same reasons that drove me to come to get the knowledge and go back and fix things, I'm using those skills here to fix things as well.
Right.
So I'm getting the satisfaction of being able to hopefully make a difference.
Right, right. You're in an industry that there's not many people that look like you, especially.
You think?
Especially in the C-suite area.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you've had to deal with as it relates to helping people understand what you bring to the table?
Very good question. Let's see. I think there are two ways to look at it, Larry.
Okay.
One is you have to be willing to create an opportunity where the opportunity is not.
Say that again, please.
You have to be willing to create an opportunity where the opportunity is not.
Okay.
So if you're waiting for the right time and the right, you know, things to be in place, it may never be.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So I don't go anywhere with a chip on my shoulder. I go to learn first. Okay.
Okay.
And when you learn, you observe. And as you're observing, you're internalizing how the game is played.
Right.
But you're also very keen in developing relationships.
Okay.
I think someone once said, you know, if you help enough other people, you get what you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not about you. It's how can I help you get what you want.
Right.
And in doing so, I get what I want.
Right. What's been the most difficult day being a CEO?
Over the last 18, 19 months, it's been very challenging.
Why?
COVID.
Yeah.
What made
it so difficult?
Something we've never seen before.
Right.
You know, we've, you know, you see life and death all the time.
Right.
You know, being in my line of work. But to see the amount of carnage that COVID brought on is just unimaginable.
Yeah.
It's unimaginable, particularly the early periods of this pandemic. You know, and the impact that it had on African Americans was very devastating because of the pre-existing conditions. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so that to me has been the most difficult time, you know, in this line of business for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end of our interview, and so happy to have you.
Thank you.
I want you to talk to that young kid in Enugu, and if you could talk to him, directly to him, what would you say?
Never give up.
Okay.
Always striving.
Okay.
And try as much as you can to become indispensable in anything that you do.
What does indispensable look like for Michael Ugwueke?
Indispensable means the go-to person for anything, everything. I tell young kids all the time, I don't care what job you're doing.
Right.
But if you become that go-to person, everybody knows if I want to get this done,
right,
let's call Larry.
Right.
That's why people give people that are busy, they give them more work.
Yeah.
Because if you're busy, they know you're going to get it done.
Right.
If you're not busy, you put it off.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
So become indispensable in whatever it is that you do.
Okay.
And you become the go-to person.
Wow. Well, I'm going to ask you to make a statement, to give a Mikeism, a Ugwuekeism, to the young men, middle school, high school age young men, and tell them from your travels and your journey, what message would you leave those young men with if you're looking right at that camera and talking directly to them?
My message to any young man at any age, life is not going to be easy. It's not a straight line. You're going to make mistakes, be willing to learn from those mistakes, but more importantly, learn from other people's mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's when you get knowledge
right.
for nothing. You didn't pay for it, because
right.
you learn by paying for your mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
But when you learn from someone else's mistake, that's knowledge you've gained without having to work for it.
As my mama used to say, without bumping your head.
Yeah. So that's why it's important.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be my message.
Wow, wow. Listen, you've heard from Michael Ugwueke, Enugu, Nigeria, to North Carolina, to Atlanta, and some few other places in between. Florida,
Washington, D.C., Chicago,
wow,
Memphis.
The personification of hard work and perseverance. This is the journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson, and I want to thank you for spending this time with us. For myself, Mr. Michael Ugwueke, thank you.
Thank you.
To hear more incredible stories like this, be sure to download the KUDZUKIAN app from the App Store or Google Play, or check out the Journey Memphis podcast on all your major podcast providers. Also, check us out on the KUDZUKIAN Network.